You have covered as many criminals as I have. You start to wonder, where do they come from? Do they turn to a life of crime because some other career choice that they had just didn't work out? Or did they always just have it in them?
Now, you probably know Mel Gibson, but have you ever heard of Amanda Riley, aka Scamanda?
Corey was so enamored with her.
When we got married, we knew that we definitely wanted to raise our kids in church.
For whatever reason, Amanda loved telling everybody that she grew up and went to acting and stuff with Lindsay Lohan. And and over time, it kept coming up. And I spoke with somebody fairly recently that said, oh, yeah, she had Lindsay call my daughter for her birthday.
Has anyone watched Scamanda? It's a docuseries that's airing right now on Hulu. They're currently dropping one episode a week on Thursdays.
And the question that everybody wants to know, Charlie, is why?
It happens slowly over time where somebody realizes that they can get attention from something like this.
Her name is Amanda Riley, and she had no problem scamming friends, strangers, and even family out of thousands of dollars.
All right, welcome back. So you heard there's a 4-part documentary on Hulu about a woman named Amanda Riley. And this is going to be a longer video, but for those that haven't watched it, I got the gist of the story for you, okay? I got it for you right here. So I'm gonna break it down right here because I found it so ridiculously appalling what this woman did. And, you know, as they finally released the part 4 of the series. And so now I've seen it all and I have all of the details. So let's just get right into it. So Amanda Riley is a woman that grew up with all of the white privilege that a Karen could ask for, right? She goes to church in a great city that's very affluent and known for its wealthy class sect of people in San Jose, California, right? She's got a great family. She's got great family structure. She's got a nice big ass house. Wonderful husband that she met and married near the cliffs off the water, named Corey, okay? His name is Corey, who just loves her dearly. Corey is God's gift to Amanda, right? She's got perfect children. She's got a perfect little life. Everything is perfect. But that wasn't enough for scamming ass Amanda. It wasn't enough because although she had all of those things, what she did not have was the notoriety and the adoration of the people in her life, because in her life at the time, nobody around her cared that she had all of these wonderful things going on in her life because they had them too. See, Amanda's ashy ass, she wanted to stand out. She didn't want to be regular. She didn't want to be mixed in with everybody else who had all of this stuff, had all of these great things. She wanted to stand out. And so she couldn't do that just by living her everyday, normal, privileged life, right? Because she wanted the status and for people to know her as larger than life, which, by the way, you can almost always identify a white woman searching for her individuality by the typical white woman bob haircut. Always. 99% of the time, you can always identify one by the bob cut. But anyway, Amanda decided that she didn't want to be like everybody else in her community anymore, right? She wanted attention and she wanted it now. So she devises a plan. Unbeknownst to her community, unbeknownst to her church, and all of the people around her in her life, friends, family, whatever, Amanda's ashy ass starts scheming in her mind. Now, I want you to understand and remember that she already had everything you could ask for in the typical white American dream life, right? I mean, you could not have written a better life short of being the daughter of, I don't know, Jeff Bezos or some shit, right? So she had everything. So now, Amanda and Corey, her husband, are a part of this huge mega church called the Family Community Church. So for short, we're going to call it the FCC, Family Community Church. So anytime I say FCC, you know that's what I'm talking about. And I mean, this is a church that has had well over 5,000 people. They probably have more today, right? But they had over 5,000 people attending this big-ass, huge mega church. Big, huge production, live bands. You know, we're talking, damn near like going to a concert about Jesus, right? Now, because Amanda's life just isn't exciting enough, because remember, I told y'all that Amanda wanted other people to adore her. So she really works at entrenching herself within the church community because she wants to stand out. It's not good enough for her to just be a member. She's got to be involved. She's got to become involved now. She's taking to social media. She's making videos to get people to join the church. She's becoming even more involved in the community and putting herself out in front as the church's ambassador. She's all in. And then, bam, out of nowhere, she's diagnosed with cancer. And the people around her and in her life are like, oh my God, why, Jesus? This is horrible. How could this happen to somebody like Amanda? Why, God? Why would you do this to her? And so she starts a blog called My Story, Our Journey, about this cancer that she has contracted, which the title in itself, in hindsight, had all of the makings of a true sociopath that only really ever cared about herself. But nonetheless, she starts this blog. And in this blog, she begins documenting the process of living life with cancer. She's showing various different pictures, doctor's appointments, pictures of her holding up the medical supplies, right? And the different vials, right? The different vials of medicine. She's showing all of this, all this evidence of her going and all these pictures and different things of everything that she's going through while she's going and fighting cancer. So she's showing her first starting to lose her hair. So she does the first big chop, right? Big chop on her hair and titles it, "The First Cut is the Deepest," right? She's going all in. Then she later shows her having to shave it all off, saying she's about to get brain surgery. She's in medical rooms with IVs in her arms. I mean, she is giving an Academy Award winning level performance. And she is dedicated to take this thing all the way. She's going to see it through. Now, she claimed the blog was so that friends and family could follow her journey and stay updated as to what was going on. But in reality, this was the underlay for the overplay. And it worked. Because, of course, it's going to work. When you're pulling on the heartstrings of the people and you have real life cancer survivors and other cancer patients battling this deadly disease, they're all rooting for you to be the anomaly and get through it. Because maybe if you get through it, then that means that they can get through it too, alive. So she turns into this great example for the people, and especially for people that have cancer. So the blog blows up. She becomes extremely popular. And all of a sudden, all of this love, all of this prayer, the support, the sympathy, and the attention that's pouring in, it's providing her with the dopamine of adoration that she has been longing for her entire ashy ass life. How am I doing so far, y'all? Y'all still with me? Hope y'all still with me. All right. So she's documenting all of this through her blog up until the point where she finally decides to tell everyone that she won. She beat Amanda beat cancer. But see, by this point in time, okay, she had already tasted the forbidden fruit of attention and clout. It was not going to be that easy to walk away from all of that. Not for somebody like Amanda. So her telling the people that she beat cancer gave her the superhuman status that she wanted. But after a little while, it was clear that it also took away some of that attention. A lot of that attention, actually. So what does Amanda do, y'all? She decides, I'm losing the attention that I had. So she doubles down. She doubles down and tells everybody that, wait, y'all. Cancer's back, y'all. Cancer is back. So she's back in church. She's giving her testimony on stage in front of those 5,000 people. Being a positive inspiration to the masses. She's back, right? And she's back with cancer. She was a living, walking, chosen hero of God because she beat cancer once, but now it's back again. But this time, since she got away with it once, she's like, it's time to up the ante. It's time to up the ante. It's time to take this shit up, right? The stakes aren't high enough for the people. So she starts telling everyone that she's pregnant. That's right. She told everybody that despite the fact that she had an IUD, on top of the fact that she was going through active chemo radiation treatments, right? So on top of the chemotherapy, on top of the radiation, on top of the IUD, that she had still somehow become pregnant, y'all. It was God's miracle baby, is what she started calling it. Sent from the heavens, like Jesus to Virgin Mary. I would say you can't make this shit up, but obviously you fucking can, right? So after she has little baby Jesus, shortly after she notifies everyone that she's pregnant again. Pregnant again? So her babysitter is like, yo, all right, hold on. The babysitter, the nanny is like, wait a minute. Are you sure you want to risk it again and go through this entire process again? You barely survived the first time, apparently, right? Why would you want to do this again? And Amanda says, yeah, well, my doctor says I can just stop the chemo treatments now and then just start them up again after the baby is here. And the baby will totally be safe. No worries, it's fine. It'll be fine. So she's on baby number 2 now, y'all. She had the first baby, she's on baby number 2. And this is where her lies really, for the most part, for the first time, started to make people go, all right, bitch, wait a fucking minute. Wait a minute. So the entire time, she's in church with the full court press on, okay? She's passing out during service. Everybody is praying for her. They're gathering around her. They're uplifting her. They're laying hands on her and pleading with God to please lift this curse and this burden from her shoulders one last time. One more time, right? Because she beat it the first time, this the second time. So God, we need you to come in and intervene again. So baby number 2 is born. And ashy ass Amanda starts blogging about how she had to quit her job and how money is tight with all of the medical bills piling up and the life expenses. It's just becoming so much financially, right? So her best friend at the time, best friend's name is Rebecca. I ain't gonna lie, Rebecca, for a white woman, Rebecca was fine too. But anyway, so Rebecca steps up and says, listen, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help you out. She's like, you're going through all of this. You're back at stage 4 cancer. Your life is on the line. So Rebecca starts sending her friend $500 a month, y'all. She starts sending her $500 a month to help her out. And the reason that this is so motherfucking dirty, y'all, The reason it's so dirty is because Rebecca had just had a boyfriend that had just passed away not months earlier from cancer, and Amanda knew this. It was partly why Rebecca was so interested in helping her in whatever way she could, giving her money every month. And as she asked Amanda, use that. She preyed on that fact from her friend and used her best friend's vulnerability and her emotional state against her to garner empathy and sympathy. It was the ultimate scumbag piece of shit move, y'all. And so Amanda also starts up a website where people can donate money to it as well. And of course, you know, the FCC church, it's going to show up for Amanda because she's been such an inspiration to their congregation and to the people that they all want to help her out. So they hold a special service where they bring Amanda and her husband Corey up on stage. They got the fog machine going. It's crazy looking, right? And the pastor makes an entire show out of it and decides that the entire church is going to give this couple what they call a love offering. A love offering. And they are literally placing money at their feet, y'all. They're throwing money at their feet. So that by the end of it, there's just this insane pile of money up on stage in front of Amanda and her husband Corey, all for Amanda and what she's going through. And at this point, Amanda says to herself, you know what? Y'all have bought into all of my bullshit thus far. Why not take it all the way? All the way. So she decides to go all out, full scam ahead. As she asks Amanda, just start saying anything to get money at this point, right? She goes to one of her other friends and says, hey, I need a special blood test done. And I ain't got no money for that. Can you help me out? It sounds strange, and the friend is reluctant, but she helps her out and gives her the money for this blood operation, right? But the bullshit meter is already touching the ceiling for the people around Amanda, right? It's been growing, but now it's getting up there, okay? And she just can't see it yet. Amanda is none the wiser. She thinks that everybody is still believing all her bullshit. But that same friend starts ignoring Amanda because she's had enough. She's starting to see that something ain't right here. She won't take her calls. She won't respond to her voicemails, totally ignoring and avoiding her, till finally, she just can't take it anymore, and she decides to pick up the phone one day for Amanda. So then, Amanda tells this same friend that she borrowed the blood test money from that she's pregnant again. This is the third pregnancy. She's pregnant again, y'all. 3 pregnancies. And that she wants this friend and her husband to be the godparents. And so the friend says, yo, I thought you were dying. I thought you were dying of cancer. And so she proceeds to tell her, are you ready for this? Amanda, this is what Amanda told her, okay, when she asked her, I thought you were dying. This is what Amanda says. She tells that friend that the pregnancy is reversing the cancer.
What?
Oh, now you fucked up.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
She tells that friend that the pregnancy is reversing the cancer, yo. So by this time, the friend has had enough. She hangs up on her, and till this day has never spoken to her again, okay? But this is the level of insanity that the people around her were dealing with. And mind you, that at this point, her scam had grown so out of control that celebrities have now jumped in to support her. She's receiving tons of donations, not all monetary, by the way. She's getting free trips around the country, gift cards, tickets to baseball games, memorabilia items signed by celebrities like guitars, etc. There's even a couple from the church that she goes to that makes a music video for Amanda and her family using the fight song theme that they just get to go viral. But remember that I told y'all. Remember that I told you that the bullshit meter was already in the rafters by this time, okay? So elsewhere, somewhere else, there's a television show about to launch, and it's being headed up by an investigative producer named Nancy Moscatello, okay? And Nancy is heading up this new show. It's called Crime Watch Daily. You may have heard of it. Some of you may have heard of it. And so they were prepping different storylines and really looking for various scam stories to use in this documentary and investigate for the show. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she gets an email. The email tells her that hey, you might want to investigate this 30-year-old woman in Cali who they're positively sure is faking cancer. So Nancy decides to check into it. And when I say check into it, Nancy proceeded to go back through 3 years worth of posts of Amanda's blog, of her Facebook, of every digital media piece of evidence that she could to fact check every single post and blog that included claims where Amanda was visiting doctors, applying for jobs, lying about donations, everything, right? And she started taking notes on everything. And this is really like the beginning of the end for Amanda. She just doesn't know it yet. Amanda doesn't know. So by this time in the documentary, they moved on to parts 2 and 3, and they bring in the ex-wife. You didn't know there was an ex-wife, did you? See, Corey and the ex-wife were together for 4 years. And during that 4 years, they had 2 daughters between them. One named Jamie, who wasn't Corey's biological daughter, and another named Jessa, which was Corey and his ex-wife's biological child. So they only had one biological child together. And they further reveal in the documentary that at a very, very, very early age, Jamie, who was not the biological child of Corey, but still very much in his life, through marriage, Jamie, the oldest of the 2 daughters, ends up developing cancer. And so, as Jamie starts treatment, she can't do the things that normal kids do because she's in and out of the hospital and, at home most of the time. So in order to bring some kind of sense of normalcy into Jamie's life, the ex-wife hires her mom, the ex-wife, as in Jamie's mom, hires a dance instructor. That dance instructor just happens to be a 17-year-old college student named, you guessed it, Amanda. And this is how Amanda and Corey actually met. When Amanda was 17 and Jamie was just 7. So of course, Amanda and both of the young girls developed a great relationship with one another because, they're all seeing her all the time. She's over there all the time, right? So after a while, Corey and his ex-wife divorce. Shocker, right? Corey and his ex-wife divorced, and all of a sudden, Amanda, who was this big sister figure to Corey's daughters, all of a sudden, she's spending a lot more time over Corey's house. And despite the fact that there's a 12-year age gap between them, Corey and Amanda end up getting together. Shocker, right? And all of a sudden, they're married, and the ex-wife is out of the picture. I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. Now, Corey and Amanda start doing everything they can to get custody of the one biological child, of the one biological daughter that Corey has with the ex-wife. And shortly after that, Corey and Amanda file for bankruptcy, telling everybody, hey, We can't afford these hospital bills and we're drowning. Okay, let's fast forward back to the future. Or present, rather. Let's fast forward back to the present. So Corey and Amanda filed for bankruptcy, telling everybody, hey, we can't afford these hospital bills and we're drowning. By the way, the other daughter survived cancer. She got through it through various treatments. But despite all the mass donations that they're receiving, it's just somehow never enough, right? And this, again, makes some people perk up like, wait a minute. Why do you all keep needing all of this money and donations? And little does Amanda know that behind the scenes, there's a case being built against her for fraud. Long story longer, the investigative producer gets the police, investigators, and the IRS involved, and that one friend who Amanda kept lying to turned out to be the main factor in bringing all of this information to the table and breaking this case wide open. That friend that she lied to about needing the blood work done, that friend that she asked would her and her husband be the godfather of her third pregnancy, that friend had simply had enough. She was done, and she decided, I'm going to break this case open because there's something ain't right here. And she does just that. She breaks the case open. It's revealed that Amanda's ashy ass has been lying the entire time. Oh, shocker. Amanda is a woman who told her children at one point, by the way. I just want to help paint the picture of who Amanda really was. She told her children at one point that they might have to donate bone marrow to help save her life. For those of you that do not know about donating marrow from your bones, it is a very extremely painful process. I know someone personally who went through this entire process of donating marrow in order to try and save her daughter. And it is a very, very, very unpleasant procedure. So to tell your adolescent children that they might have to go through this painful procedure in order to save your life is just pure, it's absolutely demonic. And it's a form of mental and psychological abuse. And unfortunately, even after Amanda ends up going to court and pleading guilty to fraud, even though she went to court and pled guilty to fraud, those kids were still traumatized in this. She goes to court. They recommend a sentence of 18 months. But the judge says, hell no. That's way too light for such a serious crime of fraud, and I think you'll do it again. So the judge gives her 60 months, the equivalent of 5 years in prison, right? And she ordered her to also pay restitution, which means she'll have to pay back the victims somehow. I don't know how she's going to do that. She'll have to pay back the victims, and if you ask me, that still really wasn't enough of a penalty. But what are you going to do, right? Amanda Riley's scamming ass is definitely out. She is free now. She's walking around with the Commonwealth. And for those wondering, so is her scamming ass husband, Corey, who was no doubt 100,000% complicit in the scam. There's no way he didn't know. He even lied to the authorities and testified that he was there beside her during some of her hospital treatments. So how in the world did you not know, Corey, that your wife was fucking scamming everybody? But whatever, allegedly, right? But unfortunately, nothing happened to him, okay? He's out free. He's as free as you and I. But I just wanted to cover this to highlight the lengths that people are willing to go to in order to, one, scam people out of their money, two, pretend to be living a life of luxury and wealth when they are really poor and broke behind the scenes, three, the lengths that they're willing to go to destroy the character and the lives of anyone connected to them in the name of attention. Her and her pathetic ass husband are now divorcing. So turns out that they did all this together just to break up in the end anyway, which is nuts. Anyway, y'all drop a comment and let me know what you think about this insane story. Yeah, and that's it. That was the documentary. Feel free to check it out. It was a very interesting watch. Anyway, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you all in the next one later.